Eric Bakker, the naturopath. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Why should you add fermented foods to your diet? I mean, is it a trendy thing? Well, not really. I mean, I'm an old geezer now. I'm 60, but you know, I was eating sauerkraut, like way back in the 70s when it wasn't really trendy. And a lot of people were. A lot of baby boomers were. Now, all of a sudden, these foods have become like trendy, a bit like jeans are torn and ripped now, and now they're trendy. And when I was young, if I wore ripped or torn jeans, it was antisocial behavior. So I suppose eating sauerkraut was seen as antisocial, and growing long hair and beards back in the 70s was sort of seen as antisocial. It's funny how now everything's become instantly social, isn't it? So there's great benefits from eating fermented foods. Really good benefits. I've summed it up in a few bullet points, really, but one of the most important reasons you want to eat fermented foods is to keep your immune system in really good shape, because the fermented foods will absolutely help to keep the pH or the acidity of the intestines a bit on the low side, okay? So this encourages the proliferation of beneficial bacteria. So good bugs, not the bad bugs, or the good that can go bad, they tend to like a little bit higher pH, a little bit more alkaline, whereas the lactobacillus, the sour-loving bacteria, they like that lactic acid-rich environment. They like that sour kind of an acid environment. So you'll really encourage them to take off if you start eating small amounts of regular fermented foods like kimchi or sauerkraut. Okay, very important reason. So soluble fiber is very important to eat. If you're going to eat sauerkraut regularly, like I do, then it's also important to eat other kinds of foods like beans, maybe some oranges, some oats, some legumes, some sprouts, things like that, because they then encourage the bacteria, okay, to help break down those foods and grow. You'll get larger amounts by adding fermented foods to your diet plus the soluble fiber, okay? So yeah, smart move. Second move is the good bacteria, they trump the bad ones, okay? Now, we're not talking about Trump here, but we're talking about, okay, the good ones will jump on top of the bad ones. So when you've got good populations of good bacteria, it'll be much harder for other bacteria to become imbalanced and going bad. So this is the second reason why fermented foods are so good to add to your diet, because it'll keep your immune system in good shape, all right, by keeping the good bacteria up. Third reason is good bacteria produce a lot of vitamins in the colon and the large intestine. So people lacking energy, you need B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12. You need vitamin K, you need folic acid. All that stuff is made in that big thing called the bowel, okay? So the body makes its own vitamins. It does. And it will do so with help of good bacteria and good food. But needless to say, you're not going to make great bacteria if you drink Coca-Cola all day and have 3 or 4 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You don't usually make good bacteria on those kind of foods. That's going to push you more into the inflammatory route, not the anti-inflammatory, okay? Bacteria make vitamins, as I mentioned, but good bacteria also reduce the inflammatory levels in the body, all right? They will make sure that the cytokines, or these immune modulators made by white blood cells, they will make sure that they behave, okay? So they're a little bit like police in some regards. So inflammation is the mother of all disease. And how we keep mother under control by keeping mother happy, okay? We give lots of sauerkraut, we give her fermented foods, we give also cultured foods like yogurt. But I find sauerkraut to be in a category of its own. I find it to be likely one of the best of all foods you can eat for the bowel. Small amounts of sauerkraut, and then regularly, get used to eating it. So eating it once or twice per day. It's going to keep your gut in top shape. So those are some of the reasons why it's so good for you to keep on eating fermented foods over a long period of time to really get that gut in top shape. Thanks for tuning in.